All right, John. So today's guest is going to share with us how to look at your numbers so that you can be more profitable. So we want you to be more profitable. We want you to have more free time. Let's see what he suggests. All right, hey Giants. Today I want to introduce you to John Konzen, and his information really caught my attention because I think that we start a business and don't really think about all the different aspects of, saving money and getting more profits and this type of thing. And so I thought he would really be great for you to meet. And so, hey, John, how are you?
Good. How are you doing, Lois?
Okay. Can you tell the listeners a little bit about what you do?
So I help businesses basically unlock the power of compounding growth. So there's 12 areas of business that I focus on, like cutting costs, market dominating position, compelling offer, even increasing prices, which is a counterintuitive way of running a business. I mean, most businesses think, well, if I raise my prices, I'm going to lose customers. But in reality, that's not true. You might lose one or two, price conscious people, but most people will not even notice small increases. But before we do that, I always try to focus on like market dominating position, creating a uniqueness about your business that resonates with customers, right? And especially in this age where competition is fierce in just about any industry. So that's one of my first focuses, trying to stand out.
And I love that. Okay. So, through the course, Giants, we've talked about how to make yourself appear different. So you're not getting after those price shoppers. You're connecting with people who respect what you do and know that what you do is very important. And so they're not going to be like squabbling over the fact that you're a little bit more than your competitors because your quality shows there. And that's really important because as you increase your prices, then you have more money coming in and less work. And it's okay that some of those people that do not call you now because you're, an extra 50 bucks or whatever the price increase is. It's okay that they don't call you because they're not really your best customer. So what can you expand on any of your other scopes that you help people go through?
Yeah, so obviously that's a big one because you want to create an image where you're the only choice. People buy value. They buy. Business is really about relationship more than pricing structures, right? Um, so to really stand out and be the only choice, that's that first thing I work on. Offering something like a compelling offer that doesn't uh, that nobody else offers,
Mhm.
right? Something unique. That's another way of creating that, basically a category of one where you're the only choice. That's where you want to build your business to, is you're the only choice. Um, I think in previous conversations we talked about uh, like in contracting van wraps, basically driving billboards.
Mhm.
And when that first came out, it was a great idea, right? And the few people that were doing it stood out. But now everybody's doing it. So how are you standing out now if you're paying for those van wraps on every new vehicle you get, right? I drive around, I see them all the time. So marketing has a big effect on your business and search engine optimization, things like that. Those are all um, parts of businesses that a lot of small businesses don't even think about, right? They're so busy, you know, creating the business, building the business, working in the business that they really need to take a step back and look at some of these other areas. Um, Cutting costs, trying to negotiate with your vendors, upsell and cross sell. Like once you've got a customer, how are you? Do you have other compelling offers that you can upsell with them? Your customer base is your best um, marketing tool. Is who are you already doing business with? Can you create better offers for them, or different products, or upsell, cross sell type of stuff, bundling, um, adding services together that complement each other. Drip campaigns, talking, taking your email list and creating offers and even stories uh, downstream that can help keep the interest in what you're doing, right? Keep your clients interested. Um, Alliances and joint ventures, digital marketing, more leads. There's a bunch of areas that businesses typically don't look at, that and the cost is not necessarily it. The value added, the added revenue and the added profit for looking at these things, uh, the cost is typically minor compared to what you get out of it. And that's the power of compounding, right? Of taking small steps in multiple areas can add a lot of profit. And so I have software that actually shows that. There's a visual that I can show in a matter of minutes that will show what small changes to these areas can do. Can actually accelerate profit and the revenue. Uh, and it's not just a one-time deal. It compounds. So the more you do and the more you keep doing, it's not something that's just one and done. It continues on. And I try to teach businesses how to work in those areas. And then of course some of the stuff I don't personally do, like digital marketing and website design and search engine optimization, and
That's what
even
you call us.
right, even drip campaigns like email campaigns and marketing. I don't do a lot of that, so that's where I want to partner with companies like yours that helps in those arenas, right? So I have a number of referral partners that I work with that help in that. So
Yeah. I saw this um, software that he's talking about. It's very intriguing. It's like how just moving just a little bit can make a big difference. I mean, you're in this business for the long haul, and it's really important to know, can you negotiate a little bit more with your supplier and save a little bit more? And then, like I talked about earlier, raising your prices. It's just the complete process of what we're teaching with Profit Lead System, as far as using the technology, using the skills that the people in the helping giants is sharing with you, so that you can have a business that can run on its own, but also you can create free time for yourself and your family and all the things that you want to do outside of your business. So John,
Exactly.
what's the first meeting look like with you? What would somebody expect?
Usually I'll do the profit simulator, right? So that's a quick visual that shows them what they can expect. And then an initial meeting would be um, talking about, the first thing I do is go in and I look at like profit and loss statements and other bookkeeping statements that can help me determine where the company's at this moment, right? And then, the first question always is, where do you want to be? And most businesses want to be running independently without, with or without them. I mean, if they're constantly involved in the business, they're not having any free time themselves. So that's the first conversation. It's like where you're at, what's your gross revenue right now, what's your gross profit margin, and what's your net profit margin. And based on the industry, I have in this software, I have median numbers for those. So whatever industry it is, I can figure out, are they right on the mark? Are they a little bit below? Are they above? How are we doing? And then from there, we go into the actual profit acceleration software and through a series of questions on each topic, figure out where they are and where they want to be, and how do we get there, right? Um, the sad fact is that most businesses fail in the first 5 years,
Oh,
and I would love to help prevent that, right? For instead of just surviving and barely getting by, to actually thriving and being, like you said, being able to, do things, go out with your family, go on vacations, do all these things. And, there's a lot of business owners that never go on vacation.
that's sad.
That is
Yeah,
sad. That's
yeah.
tragic.
But
And
is it?
then, yeah, and then even though they're not going on vacation, they're constantly working, they still have a 1 in 2 chance of making it,
Mm,
right? After 5 years, half the businesses fail, and that's tragic. Especially if you've invested your life savings into it. I think about contractors because I was either working for or was a contractor for many many years, and in the HVAC industry,
mhm.
and um, it was there were times where it was difficult to get ahead. And, half of all those people that are doing it are going to fail. The ones that decide, hey, I don't want to work for somebody anymore. I'm tired of it. I've saved up enough money. I'm going to start my own business, uh, buy a truck and go out and start working. Well, that's great. But if you're out there doing all the work, it's going to be really hard to grow a business because I've tried it multiple times, not just on my own account, my own business, but trying to develop departments within other companies. And without the support necessary, they more often than not fail,
Mhm.
right? Because you can't be wearing 10 different hats.
Right, yeah. And it's the difference between holding a job and owning a business. There's a
Big,
difference. Yeah.
big, yeah.
Yeah.
And you got to get out of that specialist or creative mindset into the business mindset, and to try to uh, build the business and reinvest in the business. And that's the thing is we want to we both want to find the business more profit so that they can reinvest it and grow the business, right? And not fail. Not only not fail, but actually thrive and be able to take vacation, be able to
Yeah.
do, things with the family, right? I mean, that's the That's why
I want you to send us pictures of your family in Disney and Tahiti and Spain and all those
yes,
fun places. I want to see those pictures.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
That's the, that's the key. So yeah, a first meeting would basically be to just figure out where they're at and where they want to be. That's the
Yeah.
two, and what are the, I think you might have mentioned pain points, but what are the what is holding them back from getting, what's the roadblock basically.
Yeah.
I don't want to say necessarily pain point, but what's holding you back from achieving your dream?
Yeah. So. Well, John, thank you so much for sharing with our giants. We will have his contact information below. And if you found this interesting, you might also check out this episode. I'm not sure which side it's on, so whichever side it's on. So, John, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to having our giants reach out to you and see how you can help them grow.
Thank you so much, Lois.
All right. See you next time,
Great to
giants.
talk to you. All right.